Are you ready to take your business to the next level? Every day there are countless books and articles that are published offering the key on how to make your business a success. It's easy to feel overwhelmed trying to keep up and run your business. That's why Deb Creer created the Business Power Hour. Keep up on the latest trends, best practices, and techniques for how to make your business a success. Let the Business Power Hour do the heavy work for you.
Good morning, good morning. I am Deb Creer, and I am passionate about giving professionals the tools that they need to make themselves and their businesses as successful as possible. And we're going to have so much fun today. I love all the people that I meet on my podcast. You know, people ask me, why do you do this? It's because I get to talk to the coolest people in the world. So please join me in welcoming one of those cool people, Josh Zepess, to our program today. I know he's looking around, wondering.
I'm looking around like, who's this cool person you're talking about? I want to meet him. Wow, I'm so excited.
I love it. Well, let me tell people a little about you, and then we will dive into this because we're going to have so much fun today. So in a world, now we should have theme music, right? We should have dun dun.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. Yep. So we need dramatic music here, folks. Yeah. Imagine dramatic music.
Epic dramatic music.
Epic. In a world where dreams are crushed, souls are forgotten, and rust never sleeps, Josh Zepess, the Identity Archaeologist, is on a mission to ensure talented solopreneurs turn every business first impression into the second impression, which is where the sale happens, by raising their ROC, return on conversation, so they can profit more without grinding more. After decades on the corporate farm as a shy, introverted engineer, I think you got struck by lightning because you are not that now. He realized that the cubicle could no longer contain him, so he escaped. It was a rocky road through entrepreneurship in the financial and gym industries until he finally stopped ignoring his genius. Now he plays in it profitably every day. When he's not digging for business gold, he flies airplanes, brews beer, runs long-distance obstacle course races, and sets the bar low as a semi-professional comedian, and not the funny kind. Oh my gosh, like I said, we're going to have so much fun, Josh.
Where to begin? Honored to be here, by the way. And
I know.
Hopefully your favorite people you have on here, it's okay if they have cats on their lap.
I know. We love cats. And for those of you who are listening, y'all got to check out the YouTube version because we have to see Josh and you have to see the cat. So, this is so much fun. My cats never come in here when I'm doing this. I'm pretty sure that it's because they think, oh, crazy lady's talking to herself again.
And I think Aubrey here, he knows I'm talking to someone else. He's like, but what about me? What about me?
Hello, I'm a cat.
Hello.
You must pay attention to me when I deem that you should say that.
That's right. And the moment you want to pay attention to me, I'm going to go run in the other room and leave me alone.
Right. So now, Josh, I did my research. I read your stuff.
I've heard that before.
Tell me what you do.
I help people at the core, Deb. I help people tell the truth in business. Mm-hmm. When I say tell the truth, I mean tell their truth.
Right.
Stand up for finally what they believe in. Say what they really want to say to the world. And actually do that in a more profitable way, because there's nothing more profitable than being human.
Right.
So bringing their humanity back to that business, being themselves, no more professionalism. This is what I do, and this is how I help people really bring that to the front of their message.
Right. And I was laughing about that because that's one of the things that you say is when we get that, tell me what you do, we go, or we give the memorized speech, right?
Yeah.
Well, actually, one of the first things I always like to ask my guests is, tell us how you got to where you are today. I mean, you have truly discovered what your passion is in life. So, tell us how you got from corporate America to where you are today.
Yeah, I'll give you the short version, as they would say in Spaceballs. I grew up as a soldier. I was metaphorically, I was the good soldier. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. I did everything I was told to do. I was told, keep your head down, Josh, obey the rules, do what you're told. Essentially, I lived as shy, is how I describe it. And so I got the multiple degrees, got grades. I don't know about good grades, but I got grades. And then I got into corporate America, and I was an engineer for 20 years.
Wow.
Climbing the ladder, doing all the right things. Got into management, multi six figures. So I was quote unquote successful. And then one day, everything I thought was right wasn't so right. I wasn't as wealthy as I wanted to be. I wasn't as happy as I needed to be. And I just wasn't free. So right now, freedom is my favorite F word. That's what it's all about for everybody, myself and everyone I work with. Now, that wasn't always the case, by the way. I had a different favorite F word back in the corporate days.
We all use that word on occasion, right?
We'll keep this PG-13, so I won't mention that. But yeah, I just decided like I couldn't sit in this cubicle anymore. I had to get out. This wasn't right. I was like I saw the code in the Matrix. You know, when you start seeing the code and the glitches in the Matrix,
it's like
you can't unsee it.
Right.
You can't just put your head back down and pretend like everything tastes like chicken and it's going to be okay, because it wasn't going to be. So I got out. I escaped. But I got into all kinds of stuff, entrepreneurship wise, got into financial industry, gym industry. I was security guard. I don't tell many people this, especially you'll understand why. I was a personal bodyguard for a day when Bill Cosby came to town. I was doing armed security.
Interesting.
This is before all this stuff came out, just so you know.
I saw him perform publicly many years ago. I mean, as a comedian, he was a great person.
He was.
And we grew up with Fat Albert, right?
Oh, of course. Yes. Yes. And the other one, what was the one where he did the picture pages or something? Or that was a long time ago.
It is.
So, yeah. And then one day I was like, wait a minute, time out, Josh. Stop all this running around. Stop all this entrepreneurship. Stop trying to make money. What's your genius? What do you do better than everyone else you know? What is your expertise and all the skills you built up over all these years, blood, sweat, and tears? And where do you want to play? Like, where do you want to play?
Right.
Like, what are you passionate about?
Play,
who do you want to help?
Play is the key word.
Yes. And I crunched it all together and I crystallized into the Identity Archaeologist, which is what I do today. And it's the best decision I ever made. I get to play. This is natural. This is even hard work for me. I do work hard, but what I do and what I create and what I help other people create, it's a piece of cake. So it almost feels unfair. And I think that's how business should be. It should feel unfair. Like, this is too easy.
Right.
Yes.
I'm getting paid to do this.
Yes. If you're surprised you're getting paid to do something, you're probably in the right place.
Right. I do have to tell you, one time long ago, when I was in Colorado, I was asked to speak at a business organization out there on social media. That was, it'd be probably 12 years ago or so now, when social media really was kicking up as a marketing tool.
Yeah.
So they wanted me to speak to this organization, and I said, "Oh, that's great." And it's one I belong to. And, and so I was very honored because, I mean, some of their speakers were, incredibly high caliber people. And then we get into the conversation part of what I charge. And I said, well, my fee is whatever it was at that point in time. And I got crickets. And I said, hello, is this mic on? And she said, oh, you charge? I said, yes, I charge. I'm a professional speaker. And she said, well, you love what you do. So we didn't assume that you got paid for it. And I said, well, that's nice. And I do love what I do, but I can't pay my mortgage on I love what I do. And so I think that's what people need to grasp is it's a combination, folks.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's not about you don't get paid for something because you love it.
Right.
You get paid for something because you're damn good at it.
Right.
And if you love it and you're good at it, watch out. Now you're getting into something I call the golden intersection. Everyone knows the golden circle, right? From Simon Sinek, start with why and the why, the how, the what. I created a golden intersection, which is kind of similar, but basically the intersections of passion, expertise, and genius. And if you can create some overlap, if you can find those overlap areas, I've defined what that looks like, and it's amazing. So if you can love what you do and be good at it, watch out.
Yeah. And let's be honest, there are parts of what we do that we don't like. I don't like invoicing. I don't like, there are various things, but that's why you have somebody else do it for you.
Correct.
If possible.
And if not, then as you're doing the things you don't like, you're thinking of the reasons
Right.
why
Mm-hmm.
you're doing that,
Right. Yeah.
because
I'm
the reasons
invoicing
why,
because. Mm-hmm.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
that brings
Right.
you back to the happy
Mm-hmm.
place, because the why better be the happy place.
Right.
You better have a good
Mm-hmm.
reason why. Most people don't have a why.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know why they're doing it. They just
Right.
wake up and they're like, well, I'm alive another day. I
Mm-hmm.
guess I'll just go through it again.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like,
Right. Yeah.
oh,
You're probably not old enough to remember this I think it was Dunkin' Donuts commercial
time to
where
make
it
the donut.
showed the dude getting up at like 2 a.m. Gotta make the donuts.
Time to, yep, time to
Gotta
make
make
the
the
donuts.
donuts.
Yep.
Time to make the donuts. And for so many people, that really is their life. Gotta go do, all of those various things. And I think one of the things, obviously, that, and everybody in the world talks about this, is the pandemic. People went, wait a minute, maybe I don't got to do that, or
Correct.
maybe I can do it differently. And I think that is one of the things that I think is probably the biggest thing that has come out of the pandemic.
Absolutely. But let's put it where it is. Most people tiptoe through life hoping to make it safely to death.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Which is what a weird journey to be on. Like, just to make it just to death. Like, what was the point? Why? Why do any of it? But the pandemic, you're right. The pandemic really, and I've seen this in the people I work with, they're like, you know what? I got to do something for myself. I have to take something, I want to do something I love and I'm good at, and I want to monetize it.
Right.
And the cool part is everything's monetizable.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is
Right.
monetizable. So if that's the case, why start with money? Why start a business with what's going to make money? Because that's that BS advice I got growing up. Oh, just be a doctor, be an engineer, be something that makes money. Everything makes money.
Right. Right.
But why not start with what you're good at, what you're passionate about, where you want to play? And I promise there's a way to monetize it.
Right. Yeah. And, it's funny when we talk with marketing people, and I'm a marketing person, we're told, get your goals, get your big, hairy, audacious goals. And many of those entail money. How much do you want to be making in 5 years? How many, all of those various things. And yeah, it's great to kind of have that in the back of your head. But again, if you're not happy once you're during the process, or even once you get there, then what was the point?
That's right. I like money goals are okay, but really I like more mission driven goals where how many people are you going to impact?
Right.
And that will translate to money, of course, but I want to know how many people you're going to impact. I want to know what your mission is. Like, what does that look like for the rest of the world, your community? You set goals like that. There's nothing that can
the money
stop
comes.
you. The money comes. The money. So the money is a result of doing the right thing, of providing value. It's transfer of value. You provide value to someone else, value gets transferred back to you in form of money. So it's never about the money. If you're not making money, you're not providing value. That's all that means. You're not providing it in the right way or to the right people. There's something that's misaligned in what you're doing.
Right. One of the things that you talk about is, there's really only one unique thing in your business. What is that?
You, Deb, you are the only unique thing in your business. Yes, because we're all selling commodities. And everyone, it's funny when I bring this up, everyone gets their feathers in a ruffle because like, what do you mean?
But my product or my service is so special.
Yeah, so special. Me and my 50,000 other people are selling the same shit. But yeah, no, your product is really special. Okay. But look, I don't care what you're talking about. Everything's a commodity. I do personal branding, messaging, copywriting. That's a commodity. You're doing marketing as a commodity. Insurance, real estate, life coaching, all of this stuff is a commodity. The only unique thing that's in your business that you have is you.
Right.
That's the only thing that's got that unique combination, because if you try and sell on the commodity level, you're going to get lost in the sea of sameness. It's not going to work out. So you got to bring your uniqueness to the front of your message. That's going to be the key to really differentiating, but you got to let it out. Most people keep their uniqueness to themselves, right? They hide behind their product, their commodity.
Well, they're scared.
Here's my water bottle. No one, if someone's watching this on YouTube, they can see I'm holding my water bottle up and I'm hiding behind it.
Yeah, that's my product. That's my service.
Yeah, but guess what? 50 million people are all doing this, trying to sell their water. Now you're lost.
Right.
But if you put your water behind you and you're like, hey, this is why I care. This is why I'm passionate about people being hydrated. Did you know dehydration's killing families? It's ruining job performance. It's eventually going to completely destroy your entire family, right? So now we have a conversation. Now people know why I care. Now they care what I know later on.
Right. And there's this word that gets thrown about a lot, but it is so important, and that's be authentic. And it was funny. I was just listening to something earlier today where it was talking about how so many people think they have to be, and you talk about this on your stuff too.
Yeah.
They have to be like everybody else. And we see that all the time with, great example. You hear a commercial on TV, radio, wherever, and you don't hear who it is. Your mind immediately goes to, well, it could be this or this or this or this or this, because it's the same story over and over again.
100%. And authenticity, unfortunately, has become a kind of a cliche,
Mm-hmm.
and it's been watered down. But really, authenticity at its core is telling the truth,
Right.
your truth,
Mm-hmm.
like letting it out. What do you really want to say to the world? And we're so deathly afraid to do that
Mm-hmm.
because we get what are people going to think about me, Josh?
Mm-hmm.
What are people going to think about
What
me?
if
Like,
they
wait a
don't
minute.
like me?
Yeah, well, guess
Mm-hmm.
what? You're in business.
Mm-hmm.
If anyone ever thinks about you again, you should only be so lucky.
Mm-hmm.
Because the number one reason for going out of business is obscurity. The number two reason is being forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good thing. You want people to think about you. But here's the thing. If you're sharing your truth, and your truth is coming from, here's the caveat.
Mm-hmm.
Your truth is coming from a place of love and good intention, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're not doing it out of hate
Right.
or shame or
Mm-hmm.
judgment. You're not just trying to make people feel bad. You're saying, this is the truth, and I just need to share it with you because I care so much.
Mm-hmm.
You'll never say the wrong thing.
Right.
You'll never come across the wrong way because your energy is in the right place.
Right.
But what we do is we buy scripts. We
Mm-hmm.
borrow someone else's words.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not authentic to us. And when we borrow someone else's words, it's funny. I see this all the time. Like, buy my script, buy my special system, and it made me $1 million. It'll make you $1 million too.
Mm-hmm.
So then I see people buy this crap and they try it and it doesn't work. And I say, well,
Right.
you understand that person made $1 million because that was their truth.
Mm-hmm.
You took their truth and you tried to use it, and you were lying.
Mm-hmm.
You were lying through your teeth, and that's why it didn't work.
Right. Yeah, it's funny. I was telling you before we started, I'm thinking of going and launching a new thing. I don't even know what to call it. And yeah. And so one of the things I was thinking about was finding a quote and putting it at the top of the website, a Maya Angelou or whatever quote. And my brain kicked in before coffee even and said, that should not be somebody else's quote.
How
It
about a
should
Deb
be
Krieger
mine.
quote? I was already thinking, I was like, what are you talking about? Someone
I
else's
know.
quote?
Now, I might get inspiration from, reading all of these things, and I'm not going to plagiarize by, but yeah, it should be my quote that is there.
It should be you. It should be your stand.
Mm-hmm.
What is it, Deb, that you want to say to the world?
Right.
That's something you care about. Something you stand for that's good, or something you stand against.
Right.
Standing against an evil out
it's
there.
just as important.
It's just powerful, 100%. Yeah.
Right. And it is, we do get scared about standing apart because as kids, we're told not to. You mentioned in the very start, you were told to be the good soldier, right? Those that went to Sunday school and to all of those, you were taught. Now you hide that little light. You don't. But then you're also told, wait a minute, but that little light's supposed to shine. So I was always very confused.
Yeah. But if you stick your head up, you're just gonna get chopped off. That's
right. Yeah. And that's the thing. I mean, we were told, don't rock the boat. Don't do anything different. And you and I have chatted several times. You can probably tell that I listened to that and went, right? Yep. I'm like, who wants to be like everybody else? But so many people do, because it is scary to think, okay, I've got this product, I've got this service, it's my baby. And what if people don't like it? But that's okay. It's not supposed to be for everybody.
No, and it shouldn't be for everyone. In fact, talking about quotes, I said the other day, if you try to sell it to everyone, you won't attract anyone. Right. So you don't want to try and sell it to everyone. You can't anyways. It's not possible. There's 8 billion people on the planet. You're not going to be able to do that.
Yeah. There's supply chain issues. We all know that.
Here's the thing. There's people out there that need what you have that will only, listen carefully, that will only buy it from you. You speak their language. They like you. There's something.
Right. Something clicked.
Correct. And I want people to feel like if they don't bring their product, they don't bring their genius, their true service to the world, I call that a crime against humanity.
Right.
It's literally criminal. It's criminal in an ethical court of law.
Right. And it doesn't matter what it is. I mean, it can be something that,
you could be an unfunny comedian like me. Yeah, you
Yeah.
could be a comedian that can't tell a funny joke to save his life. Like, that's fine, but bring it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And part of being authentic is weeding out the people that aren't going to be there. I was working with a young woman one time on her LinkedIn profile, and wonderful young woman. And she was from the Middle East, who figured out very quickly as a woman, online was where she needed to be because she didn't have the cultural constraints, things like that. Right. But in her LinkedIn picture, and on her profile, I mean, she talked about being a very proud Muslim. Now, this was about 20 years ago.
Ooh, that's a tough time.
Yeah, and so she and I talked about it, and she's, and I told her, I said, you understand that there are people who simply because you said that will go no further. And she said, fine, then I don't want to work with them.
Good. Perfect.
Yep.
Yes.
And I even tell people, they say, what about, politics, religion? Okay. Those are, I get a little, but it does sometimes weed people out. And if you're okay with that,
this goes back to coming from a place of love and good intention, because why would, you could be Democrat or Republican, let's say in this country, or Libertarian or any of these parties, but what's the purpose for sharing that?
Right. See, yeah. Was it to be helpful?
It's not, it's usually not. And that's why religion tends to fall, religion, politics, sexual orientation, stuff like that tends to go to the side, because unless it's really necessary in your message, you're just saying it to get a rise out of someone. You're saying it out of judgment. You're saying it out of insecurity or some really bad place. And that's no good. That's not going to help your message. It's going to really hurt your message.
Right. Yeah, it's funny. I saw a friend of mine posted on Facebook the other day. He was golfing with a buddy. And he said, there they are on a golf course. And he said, all of a sudden, the guy looks at him and says, have you found Jesus? And
I would have looked under the golf cart like,
is he lost?
I don't know. I don't see him around here. I would have had fun with that.
And he said, the guy was very sincere, and he said, and unfortunately he laughed, Waldo? Which, but yeah, I mean, there's a time and a place, and I mean, the guy meant well, clearly, but because of the incongruency of, hey, we're on the golf course, and he said it was totally out of the blue. It wasn't, okay, had a great Sunday by doing, it was just this all, and yeah, I mean, my first instinct would have been, was he lost? Sorry.
Or was I supposed to be looking for him? I didn't realize that was my job. Am I his keeper?
And I don't know what he would have said if they just said yes.
Did I misplace him?
And so, it's about wanting to help in the right place and time.
Yeah. And religion in that sense is, I'm not a fan of religion in general. It just doesn't quite fit with my view of humanity. And no one particular religion, just kind of in general, the concept.
They get a little judgy.
Yeah, it's a little judgy. It's a form of self-oppression. It's and really it becomes that divider where if your religion is right, necessarily every other religion is wrong. And it's your job to convert those others because you feel like you're saving their soul. And that just gets weird. That's like,
well, cool. and this is part of being authentic. I mean, you're more than likely, you're not going to work with somebody who is a devout whatever, especially if that is them to their soul, good or bad. I mean, and same with politics. I mean, I tell people, it's like LinkedIn, one guy said, okay, I'm a lay minister. Should I talk about that on LinkedIn? And I said, I thought about it for a while. And I finally told him, I said, briefly, I said, but do it in the context of, I'm a public speaker because I'm getting up and giving my messages. Because we're a lay minister, that's part of managing the budget, all of those various things. And I said, so it's okay to talk about that, but especially on LinkedIn, you need to do it, as it pertained to business. Same thing with politics. I mean, if somebody say was a campaign volunteer, okay, what did you do with the campaign? Did you manage budgets? Did you manage volunteers?
Yeah.
That's how you bring that back in.
Yes, I think you kind of beat me to it. That's exactly what I was going to say. If he can do it without the label, instead of using a borrowed title like lay minister,
Right.
what if he just exemplified it in what he truly believed? Like
Right.
you can look at my stuff and where I stand politically, but I'll never tell you because I don't believe in labels anyway. So I will never label myself left, right.
Well, labels
up, down.
change, and that's the problem. Is a label people think labels don't change, that they're written in stone.
No, they change,
and that's the problem.
And they're up to for everyone else's perception. So one label, the same label could be perceived differently. So I don't use labels, but in my stand on humanity and what I truly believe in, pretty much where I stand on the political spectrum, but I'm not going to just go out and say I'm this.
Right.
Right. You're just going to see my behavior, my character, and you're welcome to judge those things. Don't judge me on things I can't change. Judge me on things like character, behavior, and things that, my actions, things like that. Right. Absolutely. And we need to judge each other on that. That's appropriate.
Especially if we're saying, hey, I'm going to spend money with you, or time, or any of those various things. That comes back to the old adage, and we get it beat through our head virtually every day: know, like, trust. It is about getting to know the person, to think, okay, this is a good person. I'm going to trust them with either my money, my time, my recommendations, things like that. But, we don't usually skip ahead, which is, where you talk about the fact that, we've got our first impression, but the second impression is really what's important. So talk to us more about that.
Ooh, actually, well, both are very
What a segue, right? It's like I know what I'm doing.
Absolutely. So you mentioned know, like, trust, but let's be clear on something. It's know, like, trust, and it's in that order on purpose.
Yes.
Because we're human beings. We build likability in 8 to 10 seconds. Trust can take anywhere from days to weeks to months to years. So if you want someone to trust you, they better like you first, because if they don't like you, you'll never get the opportunity to earn their trust. They're gone, right? So we have to be very clear it's in that order. And that's where business first impressions and business second impressions come in. The business first impression is not about selling your product. It's got nothing to do with your product or service. I want to shout this from the rooftop.
Say it again.
People buy you first, then they'll buy your product second. So on a first impression, it's all about you, but not you specifically. It's about your mission, your vision, your values, your stand, your purpose, all this stuff, all the reasons why you exist as a person and why you exist in business. That's how you make a business first impression, because you don't have enough time anyways to go into detail. So don't try.
Right.
You've got to take your stand. You've got to let people where you're going, let people know where you're going. What is the vision? What does that finish line look like? And when they're like, oh my God, you touched me in the heart. Yes, I felt like you were talking right to me. I love this. I want to be in your mission. I'm interested. I want to hop on the train with you. Let's go. Then the second impression, they're willing to sit down and you can share all the details. You can get into all the informational aspects. But I say E before I, if you want them to buy. Emotive before informative. Always. If you're selling to humans. Now, if you're selling to robots, information first, 100%. But if you're selling to humans, you better make that emotional connection first. Otherwise, you're out at first base. You're not gonna make it to second base. Sorry.
Right. And I mean, just look at the companies that do it well. One of my favorite, companies, and it's funny because I'm not a beer drinker, but is Budweiser, because of their commercials. Now, that is partially my background. I mean, I grew up around the big horses, all of those various things. But you show me a Budweiser commercial with, the big Clydesdales and a baby Clydesdale and a puppy, and I'm there. That tugged at my heartstrings. And if I were to drink beer, I might go, okay, because I like that commercial, I would drink beer.
You don't drink beer at all? No beer? Come on, Deb.
And I know you make beer.
I have a brew in the fermenter right now. It's actually right now. It's a Belgian triple.
Ooh.
And it's at 9% alcohol and growing. And
I see. I'd be passed out.
It's dry and fruity. It's beautiful. You're gonna miss out.
See, now I would like that because and on the rare time, we really diverge here. It's funny. My husband is a craft beer fan. And,
Okay.
and he likes IPAs and things like that. Now, if I'm drinking beer, I'm drinking something that, because I like wine, maybe is
Yeah.
so I like the stouts. When we were in
You like
Dublin,
something maltier, I bet.
yeah,
You
I like
more
it to
malt.
have body and flavor, and
Yes.
and
Oh,
I grew up in the world of Coors Light, right? So yeah, right.
no, 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 no. I don't touch that stuff.
Mhm,
You would like, I have a beer that came out. I have to make it again. I'll probably make it again here soon,
mhm.
called the Werewolf
Ah,
Russian Imperial Stout. Okay.
mhm, mhm.
With molasses, cherry bark, and
Oh,
licorice.
oh,
Let me tell you something. This
mhm.
beer was not dark. It was opaque.
Yeah, it would have
It was like
been.
pouring black paint.
Hmm.
That's what it looked like. It
Hmm.
wasn't a dark beer. It was like
Hmm.
a like paint.
I love it. And but the reason we talk about this is because it also shows a passion.
Yeah,
You're not going to make an IPA because that's not what you want to do.
mhm,
And, same thing with our businesses. Why do something just because either A, somebody told you to, or B, everybody else is? That's where we have to come back to standing out and being unique.
that's right. Otherwise, we end up being a commodity. And speaking of businesses, this has come up a lot recently, so I'll share it real quick. Starbucks
Mhm.
doesn't sell coffee. They've
Right.
never sold a
Mhm.
cup of coffee since
Mhm.
1970,
Mhm.
since they were first started.
Mhm.
And I say that, and people are like, "What are you talking about? That's what they
Right.
sell."
I go there and I
No,
buy coffee.
no, they don't sell
Mhm.
coffee because coffee is a commodity, and they know better than to compete on a commodity.
Right.
Because if they
Mhm.
sold coffee, they wouldn't sell any because they would actually someone can go to Dunkin' Donuts.
Right.
Speaking of
Mhm.
Dunkin' Donuts, for like 250 instead of a
Mhm.
$5 cup,
Mhm.
250 at Dunkin' Donuts
Mhm.
or a buck 67 at the gas
Mhm.
station, and get the same over
Mhm.
roasted burnt crap,
Mhm.
right? They don't sell coffee. They sell community. They
Mhm.
sell self identity. They
Mhm.
sell self worth.
Mhm.
These things are worth $5 a cup.
Mhm.
The fact that they sell coffee is incidental. In fact,
Right.
here's the cool part. If Starbucks never offered coffee, but they offered used cars, or they were in the
Mhm.
cable subscription business or the mobile phone
Mhm.
business, they'd be the exact same company.
Mhm.
Nothing would be different at all
Right.
because they know what they're selling. They're clear on why
Mhm.
they exist.
Mhm.
And that's where people need to get. If you can get to that point where you're not selling your commodity anymore,
Right.
game over. Like there, you
Right.
have no
Mhm.
competition.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, part of what they sell, and it's funny. I have saved so much money during the pandemic because I don't go to Starbucks.
Yeah.
But they sold the fact that you had meetings there, that they had good
Yes.
Wi-Fi there. I mean, all of those other things.
Yes.
And it was funny because when they would stumble would be when, it wasn't because they served a bad cup of coffee. It was because of something else.
Of course it wasn't. Every coffee's a bad cup of coffee there. So of course that's not the reason.
Okay, I like that.
I'm
Yeah.
a coffee snob. I'll admit. I
Mm,
have my special setup here for my
yeah. See,
coffee.
and I mean, yeah, it's one of those things. Like I said, I've saved an awful lot of money because I used to go
Yeah,
to Starbucks for their Wi-Fi, to have meetings, all of those things,
sure.
and the convenience. There it's not quite, like here in Atlanta, every corner is a Waffle House. Every other corner is a Starbucks.
That's right.
And so you could meet there. And it's funny, I'm setting a meeting with somebody, and I haven't done a lot of in-person meetings. We're going to meet at Starbucks because they have outdoor seating. So
Yes,
it is, people laugh when we talk about selling the experience,
that's
but
right.
that's what it is.
That's it. In fact, I'm working with a company now. They do uh, emotionally intelligent gifting
Ah.
solution for companies,
Mhm.
and I'm helping with their branding and their messaging.
Mhm. Mhm.
And we're doing a lot of research into this new thing called customer and employee experience, and how
Ah.
it's becoming the number one competitive
Mhm.
advantage
Mhm.
for any large enterprise.
Right.
This is what it is. It's
Mhm.
the experience. It's no more product. They call
Mhm.
it product-led growth.
Mhm.
I'm changing it. I'm
Mhm.
recoining that for this company,
Mhm.
relationship-led growth.
Right.
It's all about the experience and
Mhm.
the relationship.
Mhm. Right. One of the companies around here that gets it, whether you like them or not, is Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
It's always really funny if they don't say, "It's been my pleasure." I'll like, "Is it not your pleasure to serve me?" And they're
Oh,
like, "Oh, oh."
sorry.
and but they also got the process during COVID. I mean, when they switched, I mean, you talk about a company that pivoted. I went to one in Kansas, of all places, that had 4 drive-through lines. And you're thinking, "Oh my gosh, I'm going to be there forever." No. I mean, we flew through there
Right.
because they knew, first of all, they have a fairly limited menu, so you weren't getting all that confused. But they knew how to take your order, how to process it, how to get, because they knew the experience was that you got in and out of there fast.
That's right.
I didn't, it wasn't, hey, we're getting this great food. It's fast, 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 fast.
Well, Deb, I'm guessing you're not in Kansas anymore.
No, not in Kansas anymore.
Sorry. See, this is why I'm not a funny comedian, because it's a
But bump.
but I'm
But yeah, it's about that experience. And anytime we work with somebody, think about, when we're done, what are you thinking? Are you thinking, or are you thinking, can't wait to work with them again?
Are you a client or are a cheerleader?
Mm-hmm.
I don't like to have clients. I like to have cheerleaders.
Right.
I
Mm-hmm.
want people talking about me behind my back in a good way,
Mm-hmm.
just like I talk about other people in a
Right.
good way behind
Mm-hmm.
their back.
And in a bad way is not bad. I mean, I think we all learn from our failures, and bad is something that we should be thinking, how can I improve this?
Absolutely. I want bad to my face though.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to behind my back doesn't do me any good.
Right.
I
You
want
can't
I want
improve it if you don't know
exactly,
it. Mm-hmm.
exactly. Just tell me to my face if it's bad, but if it's good, behind my back.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't want to hear, I don't want that. I don't need that.
Mm-hmm.
Don't pump up the ego, none of that stuff. Just
Mm-hmm.
tell someone else and cheerlead for me. Leave a
Right.
review. I
Mm-hmm.
ask for video testimonies. By the way, that's a little
Mm-hmm.
tip for anyone who's listening.
Mm-hmm.
If you got clients and you're not getting video testimonials of them just naturally in your
Right.
interaction saying,
Mm-hmm.
oh my God, I had some lady tell me like the hand of God was touching me because I spent 15 minutes with her and helped her clarify
Wow.
her entire freaking
Mm-hmm.
message in
Mm-hmm.
15 minutes, like
Mm-hmm.
better than Geico can.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, she's like, oh, the
Mhm.
hand of God, I think, is touching you. I'm like, which is weird. I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
God person, but okay.
The hand of something.
Yeah. But just your normal interactions, you should be recording these
Right.
and share that experience with other people. Use
Mhm.
that as a testimonial
Mhm.
to help other people see your work and
Right.
see what other people are
Mhm.
saying.
Mm-hmm. And the worst thing is when they come across scripted, whether it's from them or if
Yeah.
you're giving the script, oh, that drives me
Or they're
nuts.
reading it. They got
Yes.
they got.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think Deb is
Mhm.
great because she likes to do lots of fun things, and
Right.
I recommend her to everyone in the universe. Like,
Yawn.
no good.
I always love it when I get telemarketers and and I will answer, and we do that hello, and then I wait. Let's see how long it is before they say anything. And then they launch into their script. And I usually let them get about a sentence before I start trying to interrupt. Excuse me, excuse me, excuse me. And they're paying no attention because they are reading the script. And bless them for working. I mean, there's certainly benefits to what they're doing. But the fact that, they don't hear me at all and they can't answer questions because they have a script. It's an AI in real life, right? You can't ask them questions because they don't know those answers.
Yeah.
And we hate
answer,
that.
I answer is, scusate, vorbito romanesce?
And they're like,
I just say, excuse me, do you speak Romanian?
Mm-hmm.
That usually gets him off the phone. My father-in-law does that all the time. He's full-blooded Romanian.
So that's where yes. Mm-hmm, yeah. I mean, my favorite, and I forget who told me that they did this, but I have never had the nerve to do this. When they pause, what are you wearing?
That I would do that. That would be fun. I would definitely do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, or better yet, do you like paper or plastic? But you got to say in a very sexy voice.
Yes.
Paper or plastic?
Paper or plastic? Yeah. Just something to get them off that spiel. But yeah, we don't like scripts, and we don't like. At the very start, when I was talking about the fact that, people walk up to you and you're at a, networking, whatever. So tell me what you do. When it's scripted, 2 or 3 words into it, we've toned out.
We're done. When people bring me scripts, I tear them up right in front of them. I said, I'm stripping you of the script. Talking about getting, what are you wearing? I'm stripping you of the script. We're stripping the script. In fact, one of my latest crusades is working with sales teams, especially in direct sales, because they get training on how to close and all the scripts on closing, and they get trained on products.
Right.
Okay, you need those trainings, no problem. But they don't get trained on how to open.
Mm-hmm.
How do you answer the question, what do you
Right.
do? How do you
Mm-hmm.
start a conversation as a
Mm-hmm.
human
How to get
being?
to that second step.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you open right, closing is easy.
Mm-hmm.
They already like you. They
Right.
already like
Mm-hmm.
they're actually listening to you
Mm-hmm.
on the product side.
Mm-hmm.
But so many people, they just want to close right away, or they get into it too fast, and people get defensive.
Right.
And they're like, I'm not interested. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know who you are. I don't know why you care.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even sure why you're talking to me.
Right.
Sorry, Charlie.
That's why, anytime somebody, starts talking about you have to be a salesman, and I think we all do. We all have to be a salesman, but we all make the face, right? Ew, I don't want to do sales. Ew. We
It's a
have to
four-letter
do
word.
sales, right? But there's ways to do it. And we have, the stereotypical used car salesman.
Right.
About a year ago, I was buying a new vehicle, decided, in the middle of pandemic, let's go buy a new car. Really fun. You can't test drive. I mean, all sorts of things. But I was getting a pickup. Now, I am from the mountains of Colorado. I told somebody, I said, Garth Brooks got nothing on me. I got back to my roots. And so, we're buying a pickup. But my husband's with me, and the people that would not even acknowledge my presence because A, we're buying a car. So that's a male thing. B,
Yeah.
we're buying a pickup. So certainly can't be this woman who wants, and Tom kept saying, her. But I was not in their script. And so they didn't know what to do.
Yeah. I'm not surprised.
Mm-hmm.
Not surprised at
I
all.
did get my pickup, but it took a while. And I think that's the thing is, when we're getting ready to sell to someone, we have to think about all of this. What is in marketing, we talk about what is their pain point. I don't really like that concept, because in many cases, you're selling them something that's going to bring them joy, bring them pleasure, all of these various things. And so, but it's back to that, building that relationship with them first.
Yeah. And if you're going to go to the pain, which is okay, the thing is, you don't want to hit them over the head with it. Like,
Right.
what's
They
the matter
know it
with you?
hurts.
Don't you want it? Aren't you tired of losing? And then you're like hitting them over the head with this.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of hitting them over the head with the pain point,
Mm-hmm.
empathize with them.
Mm-hmm.
So when someone asks you, what do you do? What they really want to know, they don't actually want to know what you do. What they
Right.
really want to know is, do you know what I'm going through in life?
Mm-hmm.
Can you empathize with
Mm-hmm.
me? Did you even think about me for 2 seconds before you tell me how great you are
Right.
and how great your business and
Mm-hmm.
service is? Can you just let me know that you thought about me first?
Mm-hmm.
That's what people are looking for. They're looking for a connection.
Right.
So that's where you want to start. And it's the pain point, but it's in a way where like you're kind of putting your arm around them, like an old friend. Like, I get
Right.
you. I know what you're going through.
Yeah.
I understand. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
you know what though? I
Mm-hmm.
think we can do something about this.
Mm-hmm.
I really think we do. And guess what? When we do something about this, here's what the vision of the world looks like. Here's what the future looks like. Isn't this
Right.
great?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't this nirvana? Look at this. This is
Mm-hmm.
wonderful. Come on,
Mm-hmm.
let's go.
Mm-hmm.
That's a sales conversation, not whatever these other jokers are doing.
Right. Now, one of the things that when you work with people is you talk to them about the lighthouse effect. And I had to laugh when I saw this because one of my bathrooms is done in lighthouses. And when we travel, we go to lighthouses and, I climb the 900 stairs and die at the top because I don't like looking out from up there. I'm like plastered up against the wall. But
That's like my wife. Yeah.
I
She doesn't
know,
go to the edge of anything. Nope.
Yeah, I go,
Yeah.
But what is the lighthouse effect and why is it so important for solopreneurs, business owners of any, all of those? Why is it so important?
Yeah, absolutely. So I love lighthouses mainly. I like them, but I really like them for what they don't do. And this is when it hit me one day when I started thinking about lighthouses. I'm like, you know what lighthouses don't do? They don't go out to the sea during the storm and beg the ships in distress to come into shore. They don't go leave voicemail after voicemail after voicemail on the ship's phones. They don't take the ships out for a steak dinner begging the ships to come in, right? They don't do any of that stuff. All the lighthouses do is they stand there. But they stand for something, right? They stand for safety, they stand for security, they stand for shoreline, everything those ships in distress need during the storm. So here's the key. You're the lighthouse, but those ships out in distress out there, those are your prospects. And they're looking for you. They're capsizing, they're drowning, they're in a world of hurt. And they're just looking for the right sign. They're looking for the right person. And if we don't shine our light, they'll never find us. So this is the attraction process, right? This is what we call magnetic attraction. When you take that stand and you shine that light and you shine that brand and you shine it far and wide, like, I mean, you're on the rooftop shouting it, this is what I stand for. Here's my mission. Here's where I'm going. There's the finish line. No one's going to stop me. If you want to hop on my train, let's go together. If you want to stay at the station, I love you anyways, but goodbye. I'm not waiting for you. When you can finally have the clarity, the confidence, and the conviction to stand for something worthwhile, and you shine that light, those ships in distress, those people are going to find you. They're going to come into shore and they're going to do business with you because they've been looking for your light. But most people, like we said, are shy and they just want to hide away. They turn their light off, they block it, or it's a different frequency. They try and borrow someone else's light, like we were talking about, and it doesn't work. And so one of my favorite things how people do is to go from shy to shine. And that's based on the Lighthouse Effect. How do we get your light shining out there so that your perfect people can find you?
Right. I love that. And as we said, you can't wait for them to come to you, but you also can't be hitting them over the head with it.
Correct. And you shouldn't be chasing, begging, convincing, because that's the traditional sales process, the used car salesman.
I know, you pull in the lot and here they all come, right?
Exactly. Like, yeah, little vultures. Like, hey, good to see you. And they're trying to tell you everything they think you want to hear. And they're not making a human connection. They don't care. And we know they don't care. That's the worst part. We know they don't care. So we don't want to deal with them.
We see those people every time we go to networking events. Now, I haven't been to an in-person networking event since before COVID. Yeah. But, when you would go and that one person and you're like, oh, and you knew you might get, hi, how are you? But before you could answer, they launched into their sales pitch. And it was it's got to be so frustrating for them because they're the hamsters on the wheel that are just spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning because they're flinging everything they've got at it and nothing is sticking. And how many analogies did I just have in there?
Yeah, there's a bunch, like hamster wheel sticking, flying rodents, all kinds of stuff.
It's that thing is, we've got to get off that hamster wheel because there's only so much of it that we can do.
Absolutely. And there's a disease. Have we talked about Yams disease?
We have not talked about Yams disease.
My goodness.
What is Yams disease?
You think COVID's bad. Yams disease is far more contagious and it's going around all the networking circles. So here's how you recognize it so you can kind of protect yourself. It sounds like this. I am Josh. I am a branding expert. I am in Orlando, Florida. I am looking for this kind of prospect. I am, right? Over professional, all ego, very little heart, very little emotion, and nobody cares. Right. You're literally listing a bunch of shit that no one cares about. So
you just yammed them to death.
That's it. And how many people do that at networking? It's always the same. Right. Hi, I am Josh, and I am, and I am, and I am, and I am, and it just doesn't work. People turn off right away. Right.
And that's also why you talk about professionalism is a poison. So talk to us more about that.
Yeah. When I got my MBA, they said, Josh, business and emotions don't mix. Keep your business persona over here, keep your personal persona over here. And I was like, wait a minute, but I'm one person. So am I lying to my clients? Am I lying to my family? Who the heck am I lying to? Am I lying to both? And I said, I don't believe in this. I don't. In fact, people like accuse me. They're like, Josh, are you trying to blur the lines between personal and business? Oh my goodness. I'm like, no.
But we have to have work-life balance.
Oh, I'm trying to eradicate the lines, Deb. There's no work-life balance. There shouldn't be. You are one person. Don't lie to either side. Don't lie to business. Don't lie to personal. So this professionalism is essentially the excuse we use to lie. We look a certain way. We have to say the right thing at the right time. We have to put on this facade, and it's all an act, and it's no good. It's actually killing us from the inside. We can't be ourselves. I promise. If you just bring your humanity to your business, and not you personally, but I'm talking to your audience, anyone who brings their humanity to their business, not only is it easier, but I guarantee it's more profitable from all the stuff we already talked about.
Well, and it comes back to, we are unique. We need to not be everybody else. Several years ago, I got very ill and lost a whole bunch of weight. Not a diet plan that I recommend to people.
No, it doesn't sound like it.
I had to get all new wardrobe, which as a woman was like, woohoo! Because I also knew that the weight was probably not going to come back. But we're talking like 70 pounds. And so before that, when I networked, it was the suits. It was, the high heels. It was all
Yeah.
of these things. And so I'm thinking, okay, well, there's thousands of dollars worth of suits here. They're not going to Goodwill. So I found a really great organization to give them to that, they were going to go to a good home, all those various things. I do not own a suit because that's not me. I go to a network. Well, if I ever go to a networking event again, and I still go to business meetings, I wear jeans. Now they're nice jeans. They don't have holes in them. They're, all those various things. I don't even know if I own high heels anymore. And now I will wear a jacket.
I don't know.
I know, no high heels.
I gave up on those.
I know.
Those are killer. I can't
just
wear
breaks
those
your ankle every time, right?
And my toes get all
squished in those little pointy things.
Yeah.
And I do wear usually a jacket, but usually that's because networking here in the South, you go into these places and it's like 70 degrees in there,
Yeah.
and so you need the jacket so that your teeth aren't chattering.
Here in Florida too, I understand.
Right.
Florida is actually an old Pahokee word that means always winter indoors.
Yes, it is. So I wear a jacket, but that's a convenience thing. It might be a denim jacket, depending, all of these things. But yeah, that image of what I should be, I looked at and I went, that ain't me now.
No.
And
it never was. It actually never was, right?
Yeah. You were trying to fit that mold. And anytime we, here we go. I'm going to do another analogy, the square peg, round hole, right? Or whichever way you do it. It doesn't work. We can only take being pounded on for so long.
And you actually bring up a really good point too, Deb, is that, we don't want to be over professional, of course, but that's also not a reason to go sloppy. So people are like, well, Josh, do you want me to just show up in my pajamas?
Right.
No. I'm not saying you don't want to be sloppy in business, because if you're sloppy, if you look sloppy, people are going to assume your business is sloppy.
And that's your work is going to be
different.
Sloppy.
You still want to be neat. You want to be groomed. You want to actually bathe at least once a week and use some deodorant or cologne or whatever, perfume, whatever you got. So don't be sloppy, but don't go so far as to be not you. That's the key.
Right. Yeah. And, even on, say, your LinkedIn pictures, I tell people, if you're not, especially gentlemen, if you are not the suit and tie guy, then your LinkedIn picture should not be the suit and tie guy. Maybe it's a polo shirt with your logo, whatever. Because that comes back to being authentic. And my favorites are the ones when I go, okay, guys, I know that the day you got married was the absolute best day of your life, but that's not your LinkedIn picture. And they all say, how did you know that was my wedding picture? And I say, because you don't wear white silk ties when you're working.
Right.
But yeah, it is part of that being authentic. If you're not going to wear the suit, if you're not going to wear the high heels, then don't fit that mold.
And headshots are changing. In fact, I get rid of all my old professional, quote unquote, headshots, the ones where I'm posing in a suit.
Oh, yes.
And all my headshots
pose.
now, maybe you've seen some of them.
Yeah.
It's just me in an element, and I'm doing some photo work on it and having fun with it. And it's just me.
Oh, yeah.
Relaxing in my zone, right?
Yeah.
That's all it needs to be.
Yeah, I had new headshots taken. It's been about 18 months ago, because it was December, and I love the woman Laura K. Stone who took my pictures, because she got me, and I mean, like I had jeans on, and all of these. Now there is the one professional headshot that sometimes you need, but my favorite picture, I'm outside, leaned up against a wall.
Yep.
And I'm laughing. And I am almost positive I am telling her it's 33 degrees out here, finish up, because it was one of those rare, really cold times in Atlanta. But yeah, I mean, and so when I show people that picture, they're like, yep, that's you.
That's it. And that comes across, right? People can sense that, even if if they didn't know you, they can sense it in your picture and your energy. And by the way, this is what really a brand is all about. It's all about the energy that gets transferred to another person. It's the gut feeling a person gets the moment you walk into a room. It's not the words.
Right.
There are no magic words. I want to make sure everyone in your audience understands this. There are no magic words that'll make people want to buy from you. They don't exist. There's only the right words. The right words are the words that you actually believe when they're coming out of your mouth, that lift your spirit up, that lift your energy up, that raise the level of the conversation. Those are the right words. Use those, Don't
Mhm.
worry about anyone else's
Mhm.
magic words.
Right. Right. You know, and if your image is suit and tie, spit and
But
polish,
that's it. Okay.
fine. Yeah. I
But it's
mean,
got to be
yeah.
real. It's got to
Mhm.
be real.
Yeah. I mean, I have a friend who, if I see her and she doesn't have lipstick on, I'm like, are you feeling okay? You know? And I mean, that's just, that her
Okay.
image is
Sure.
drop dead, gorgeous, professional, all of those things. But that's also what she does. And so that is all, all part of it. And she lives that all the time. I mean, like her casual, she still has lipstick on. But yeah, it really is about being you. And that's okay. If people don't want to buy that, then too bad. Their loss.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. And the first step to being you is get clarity on what you are.
Mhm.
And that's a lot of work. And
Right.
that's where people hire people like me and
Hmm.
other personal branding coaches
Hmm.
or consultants to
Hmm.
kind of dig deep.
Hmm.
Someone's got to go deep, deep inside and find that unique treasure, bring it to the surface, knock off all that crap conditioning,
Hmm.
polish and refine that message until it shines on its own. It's
Right.
so bright. People come
Hmm.
from thousands of miles to come see
Hmm.
it, just like
Right.
that lighthouse.
Hmm.
That's the work that's got to be done. But so
Hmm.
many people rush into marketing. They rush into let's just do some ads.
Hmm.
Let me just go network and all this kind of stuff. But they've never clarified
Hmm.
what they are.
Hmm.
And without clarity, there's no confidence. And without confidence, there's no conviction.
Right.
And then you're in the grind. And
Hmm.
that's a crappy place to be.
Right. Right.
I'll keep
You
it
don't want
PG
to be
here,
there. It's still, ugh, yeah. Yeah. Well, that gives me a great segue. So when people work with you, what are the services that you provide? And then how do people find you?
I've got two basic services that
Okay.
I work with folks on, and one is I call Concierge Consulting.
Hmm.
I work one on one. We develop the personal brand
Okay.
specifically for solopreneurs,
Hmm.
coaches, consultants, trainers, people like that
Hmm.
really want to stand out from the crowd.
Hmm.
So that's a 4 to 6 week process per stage, and we just go through stage to stage
Hmm.
until you've got what you need.
Hmm.
The other one is direct sales folks,
Hmm.
sales teams, where I do micro branding. This is a
Mm.
very unique process
Hmm.
where they don't need a full brand, right? They're working for like State Farm.
Right.
So you
Hmm.
got the big brand behind you. That's
Hmm.
awesome.
Hmm.
But that's your credibility. That's not your
Hmm.
likability.
Hmm.
And how do you compete against the other
Hmm.
50,000 State Farm agents? And then, of course, Allstate and the Talking
Hmm.
Geckos and all the other insurance stuff out
Hmm.
there. We got to create your micro brand. We got to
Hmm.
get your networking pitch, your elevator pitch, your story, all that stuff together. So I do an 8 week mastermind for those folks. Anyone in direct sales. So those are my two main ways that I'm really rocking and rolling out there.
Perfect. Now, how do they find you?
JoshZepess.com there, or go to social media, and Facebook, LinkedIn are my two favorites. Josh Zepess, at Josh Zepess, or the Identity Archaeologist. Either one, they're unique names. You're not going to find anyone else with them. So that's the easiest way.
Perfect. I love it. Your name's actually Bob Smith, but
Yeah, if it was Bob Smith, you might have a hard time. But Josh Zepess, I'm the only one out there. I've checked. That's it. There's no other.
And you are a personal branding expert. So you are your product. So your website is joshzepess.com. I love it.
Yep. Nice and easy.
Yep. I love it. I love it. Well, oh my gosh, we are almost at the top of the hour, and this has been so much fun. We have to do it again because I think, this is information that people have to have, especially as, we're coming out of the pandemic and people are going, well, maybe I really should go from hobby to business or,
Mm.
all of those various things. So I would love to have you on again. Do you have any final thoughts that you want to leave everyone with?
Ooh, there's tons. Oh my goodness.
I know.
We
You
need another
got a
whole
couple minutes.
program.
You got a while.
We need another whole program for this. Uh, it's fun. Okay, I'll show. I just did a video today on boneless ice cream.
Boneless
Yeah.
ice cream.
Everyone needs boneless ice cream in their marketing and branding. Here's what I mean by that. I went to the supermarket. This is a few months ago now, and I asked the guy working there. I said, "Where's the boneless ice cream? Which aisle is it in?" And I thought he was gonna have a heart attack. I didn't. I thought I think he almost like internally melted. His organs went to mush. Uh, and here's the point. I really did want boneless ice cream. I was telling the truth. I was being
Mhm.
authentic,
Mhm.
but I was doing it in a way that woke him up, in
Mhm.
a way different from everyone else has ever asked for ice cream. And
Mhm.
I became memorable. He went home that day, I promise, and said some joker came in and asked
This
him for
guy asked for
boneless
boneless ice cream.
He told his friends
Mhm.
told their friends, and I created a ripple effect
Mhm.
just from that simple question.
Mhm.
So here's I hope everyone's taking some part of their message and finding that uniqueness, finding a way to be true and authentic. Don't just be a jerk or a weirdo.
Mhm.
Be authentic,
Mhm.
but also be unique. Bring that to the front of your message, and I promise your conversations will never be the same. And it's a beautiful thing.
I love it. Well, this has been so much fun, and I can't wait to do it again. I'm Deb Creer. I've been having such a fun discussion with Josh Zepess. And until next time, everyone have a great day.
Take care.
Tune in for our next program for even more trends, best practices, and techniques for how to make your business a success. The Business Power Hour, hosted by Deb Creer, is proud to be part of the C-Suite Network.